Hello, and welcome to Mindful Coping podcast called Amplifying Voices. I'm Reese Moon, a 16-year-old teenager from Southern California with Tourette syndrome and OCD, and I founded Mindful Coping, dedicated to providing free and accessible resources to teens and the public regarding mental illness, especially during this pandemic. I'm so thankful and I'm so thankful to be joined here today with Revive Mentoring, an incorporation dedicated to encouraging and developing the youth population. Without further ado, I'll start with the first question. So if you all could introduce yourself, that would be great.
Sure. I'll start off by introducing myself. Uh, my name is Joshua Mitchell. I am the current founder and CEO of Revive Mentoring. I am a 22-year-old college student out of New York. I am an entrepreneur, and I'm in general always looking for an opportunity to connect with others, grow my knowledge, and definitely, spread the awareness and just spread positivity amongst as many people as I can.
Great, great. And how about you, Tanvir?
Hi, everyone. I'm Tanvir. I am soon to be 22 as well. I am also a college student. I attend Adelphi University in Long Island, New York. I am majoring in business management and entrepreneurship, as well as this program helped me a lot. I'm the CEO of it, and we hope this podcast will help you guys learn more about mental health.
For sure. Thank you both so much for joining us. The next question is, how have you all been managing your mental health during quarantine?
So, the way I've been able to manage my mental health during quarantine was, well, obviously there was a lot going on, a lot of deaths, and everything was just so just unpredictable, basically. One good way I was able to handle it was really remembering the the word of staying, consistent and just staying positive, continuing to have a positive mindset despite everything that was going on in the world. I just had to continue to see the good in everything and see the
Mhm.
opportunity that I had as an entrepreneur, not only as an entrepreneur, but as an individual to grow, being quarantined, being stuck in my house for,
Mhm.
whatever amount of months. So I had to be able to keep a positive mindset and just continue to persevere through everything, through all the hard times, through all the unpredictable times that was going on during quarantine. So that's basically how I was able to, I feel, keep my mental health during the quarantine in this pandemic.
Mhm. And Tanvir?
And to go along with what Josh had said, I feel like in the
Mhm.
beginning for me was definitely harder. I feel like that was the case
Mm.
for like most of us because it was confusing. No one really knew what was going on. And it was tough in the beginning, but like throughout like a month later, I feel like we all just kind of once we figured out the facts and everything, we just like I knew that everyone we were going through this together and just like, being with loved ones and friends here and there, that helped me a
Mhm.
lot. And just, just meditating on everything.
For sure. I definitely like that idea of, meditation, and I've found a lot of solace in just being able to be alone and reflect on my day and what things might have heightened my stress. Definitely with the pandemic, though, not having that, safety net that you might find with your friends or your teachers is definitely impacted by the pandemic, but we're all finding a way to persevere. So, my third question is sort of related to the last one. Do you all have any specific tips you'd like to share for how you've managed your mental health over quarantine?
And you can take this one.
Well, I guess to go along with the previous question, I feel like meditating
Mhm.
helped me a lot, just making my mind get away from those negative thoughts and just spending some time by myself and that alone time, even though it was hard in the beginning, you get to learn a lot about yourself. And I feel like that's important to do because sometimes you forget the positive things and just focus on the
Yeah.
negative things. And, just surrounding yourself with loved ones, talking to them, and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
doing what makes you happy.
I totally agree because especially, the news, media, social media, etc., we do see a lot of focus on the negativity. And while that is important because there's, issues that need to be addressed and so much change that needs to happen, it's also important to, take time to I think, separate yourself from whatever's going on around you, take some time to meditate, introspect, and have a deep breath. So thank you so much for that. The fourth question that I have is, what specific areas of mental health, interests or concerns, do you really focus on the most?
I can take this question. The specific area that I feel interests me the most in, well, when it comes to mental health and mental wellness, is definitely the recovery stage, as well as the part where you sit down and you realize that you have an issue, that you have a problem
Mm,
going on. You come out and you seek for help, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot of confidence for people to reach out to admit that they're going through something. So in my
mhm.
personal opinion, that's what I feel are the two interesting parts about mental health and mental wellness, is the recovery stage and the fact that you're able to realize that you're actually going through something and being able to come out about it.
For sure. Tanvir, anything to add?
I was thinking the exact same thing as he said, to be honest. Literally, like, I feel like people have a hard time just admitting sometimes that they need the
Yeah.
help. So I feel like
Mhm.
that's probably I like, even with our program, like, that's one of our goals, just to help people. But it's hard to even reach out to people because some people don't think they need the help. And that could
Yeah.
be with anything too. So
I totally agree. I think that a lot of, my problem in middle school was, my friends would point out that I'd get super anxious about things, or I had visible, hard to control, like things like tics or, OCD symptoms showing up, and they'd be like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I just, brush it off, which is not the right attitude to have, because there are resources out there that I could have utilized, like therapy and, talking to professionals, that really helped me start on this path to mental health. Next question is, what have your journeys of mental health awareness and wellness been?
Uh, my journey with mental health and mental wellness has been great. I can't lie, in the sense that
Mhm.
it definitely taught me a lot about myself as an individual. Um, just how to react to certain situations, how to stay positive, and just learning about mental health and mental wellness in general, and just learning about how different people cope with it, how different people handle it, has been very beneficial to myself and really helped me level up in that specific field to know more about it.
For sure.
yeah, pretty much the same. Like, like, especially with this program, like, I did a video on mental health too, which I was just talking about, like, people coping like different ways. And I feel like sometimes people fail to understand that, like me personally, I like to talk about it. Like, I'll go to someone and be like, this is bothering me. But
Mhm.
then someone else can just not want to talk about it at all. And I feel like that's what some people need to understand,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
there's different like coping mechanisms.
For sure. I completely agree with that. That sort of segues well into our next question. Do you all have specific inciting moments or incidents in your life that have made you, want to start promoting mental health, and sort of how that relates with your program, Revive Mentoring, and what inspired you all to create such an amazing incorporation?
So for me personally, I wouldn't say that I had a specific incident that made me reach into the specific field. It was just, I guess I can kind of say, when I decided on starting this mentoring program and when I gathered the whole team together, um, it was just really, at that point in time, I was really looking for a mentor figure in life, and I felt like it was very tough in general. So that was one of the main reasons why I had really started up this program, to make it easier for individuals like myself to not only find a mentor figure, but somebody that they can speak to about whatever situation they may be going through, or any struggles or depression, whatever the case may be. But
Hmm.
that was really the thing that really made me focus more on mental health and mental wellness, was this program, which I'm very fortunate of having, and having the wonderful people that continue to surround myself and build me up as a person. So that's definitely what
Of
made me,
course.
reach into the whole mental wellness and mental health field.
Yeah. Amazing. Tanvir?
To be honest, like pretty much just growing up, I enjoyed helping people. I enjoyed giving. It was just something that I always did. And
Mm-hmm.
even like throughout like I'm in college now, throughout high school, people would always tell me that, my teachers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And even like in the community I live in, we lost a lot of people due to violence or like even like taking their own lives away. And it's crazy, like people can go through so much and you can never see it. So I feel like learning about mental health is important. Like there's so many segments to it that I feel like some people think of mental health as like a bad thing, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Especially I've noticed in my high school community, huge stigma around it, and especially in the more academic areas of school. Everyone wants to put on, a facade. I'm doing fine. I'm dealing with everything perfectly, and I'm doing all these amazing things, which might be true, but people often overlook a lot of the underlying factors that give them unnecessary stress, anxiety, etc. Which, goes well into our next question, which is I want you all to share some of the struggles that you've been through or going through. And of course, I don't mean to be too personal, but if you could explain some of the things that are on your mind or some things that have come up because of the pandemic, etc.
Uh, I could say probably one of my biggest struggles that I've been going through since the pandemic started was
Mm-hmm.
definitely the lack of motivation. Um, whether it be with school, business, or whatever I was applying myself to, I definitely feel like the whole combination of everything going on, the whole uncertainty of things, has definitely put me into a state where I was unmotivated. I was feeling depressed at certain times, and it's like I said earlier, it's not easy to admit these things for everybody, but those are the struggles I feel like since the quarantine started that I have battled with. And good thing that I've been able to really sit down and isolate myself in a certain way where I can be in my own head, where I can, think about my own thoughts, process my thoughts, and just figure out ways of how I can persevere and stay positive to get out of that mindset,
Mm-hmm.
which was,
Mm-hmm.
very good. But yeah, those have been the two struggles that I've really went through since the pandemic started. It was just the motivation, and I feel like it started to feed into depression and just not wanting to do anything, non-dedicated to, my craft, my job, and, everything is a work in progress.
Yeah, of course. Tanvir?
With me, along with like lack of motivation, like Josh said, I feel like patience was a big problem for me. And with
Mm-hmm.
that, it made me just want to do everything at once. And I tend to overwhelm myself a lot, which makes me have like no
Mm-hmm.
free time for myself. Like I would like, because I have my other job too, which I work 5 days and with
Oh,
this
wow.
and it's like I would constantly just want to keep doing it and doing it because I just, like I just have to be doing something. And I feel like with
Mm-hmm.
that, like it just overwhelms you a lot that I have no time for myself. But it's like I just want everything done. So I feel like that comes a lot with patience and just being patient, waiting things out and not doing everything all at once.
Yeah, I completely agree. Because I think that there's such, a focus on our society, especially the youth society, like competition, who can get the most things done, like a bullet list or something. I can get this done. But that makes people not have enough time to focus on themselves, go outside, think about what's on their mind and really have personal time, which can be, better in the long run because it gives people more intrinsic motivation or it gives people a deeper understanding of what they really want to achieve. So thank you both for sharing those things with me on my podcast. Um, the next question that I have for you all is, what specific steps are you taking to put you on the path to mental wellness? So like sort of relates those techniques, but what are you doing to make your life more centered on mental wellness?
Then you can take this one first.
Sure.
Well, I guess like if you like want to relate it to the program, like the things we're doing, like we're putting out these videos, which let's say someone doesn't want to reach out, has trouble reaching out, just by
Mhm.
simply watching our videos. Like we obviously it's a nonprofit, we do everything for free. We like hope we make these videos for you guys to learn. And it's on
Mhm.
different topics and everything. So just stuff like that. We're doing it for people so people can learn and hopefully it can benefit them, and just using my socials to help people out. And I feel like that's helping a lot too,
Yeah.
because our society is just dedicated to our social media a lot. And I feel like that's a good way to just promote mental health as well. So
Yeah, I completely agree. Those are both, really excellent perspectives because I think that with Instagram and online, we do see a lot of people talking about it negatively. Like there's cyberbullying, which is a huge issue, but there's also, an overlooked aspect of YouTube, Instagram, all these social media platforms where we can meet amazing people. Like that's how I met you all. And that's also how I've met so many other amazing individuals and been able to share what I've learned from them and what I've learned from my individual research to, I think, really make an impact on the community and, creating a more safe and open space for dialogue and communication. So thank you so much for that. So moving towards a more like practical application of these questions, what resources have you all used or, online resources, online tools, and what would you share with our audience and our readers with how they can, put these on track and start using these own resources to make their lives more mental health focused or any way to improve their well-being?
This is an amazing question. I love it. Uh, so to all the viewers out there, if you guys are going through any hard times, depression, uh, anything along the lines of that, there's many resources that you guys can go out to. It can even be your friends. It can be your friends that you trust. It can be your family, your loved ones, essentially anyone you know that you can be comfortable with and that you know that you can trust in that sense.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of different other resources you can go to is probably seeking out a mentor if you want. For example,
Mhm.
at Revive Mentoring, we have mentors that are always willing to help and always willing to just grow a relationship with their mentees and just do
Mhm.
anything in our power and our ability to make their life easier, make their life better, and help them get through the hard times that they're going through. Other resources you can be your teacher, your professor, your advisors. Like I said, anybody that you essentially
Yeah.
can look to, trust, and be able to have that conversation with, anybody that you feel comfortable with. So there are a lot of resources out there. I know that when you're in that state of mind of negativity, when you're sad, depressed, it's hard to even think of anything positive, to even think of going to reach out to anybody. But I'm telling you, once you do that, once you put in the effort, it's going to make everything much better.
Mhm. Mhm. Tanvir, anything to add?
yeah, I completely agree with what Josh said. Also, when as we were saying, like some people aren't comfortable, we also do provide on our website for you to share something anon
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
so your name and nothing would be on it. And I feel like along with that, like let's say you just want to search online for similar stories for people that are going through the same struggle as you, like strangers. I feel like sometimes we actually feel more comfortable with strangers than our closest people to you. Sometimes I feel that way, and just like, reading a stranger's story, like, oh, I'm going through that too. And then just, kind of like clicking with them. So I feel like that could help too, like knowing that you're
Yeah.
not alone, or just sharing your story, like not blurring out your name and everything. We can help in that way too.
Yeah, I was looking through, revivementoring.com, and I was super impressed and amazed to see all these amazing types of specific resources. Like you said, the advice column or the blog, where it really gives people the opportunities to, look outside their communities, because I completely agree with your point there, Tanvir, that it can feel more vulnerable and more difficult to reach out to people even closest to you. But when you see, a fresh perspective, then it shows you that, there's people out there that have similar issues. And I just wanted to, direct everyone to revivementoring.com as an amazing resource that's helped me. And I plan to put them, in all of my links down below where I'll update and publish the podcast, but just as an amazing resource to help the youth specifically find a mentorship that's really impactful and can shape your life for a very significant path. The next question is a more, lighthearted question. If you all could share a couple of fun facts about yourselves and how those, have made impacts on your life, but just something lighthearted to conclude the podcast.
Okay, I'll take on this question. 3 fun facts about myself. When I seen this question, and honestly, it was hard to think of 3 fun facts. I'm not sure how fun these facts would be to you guys, but the first one I could say is that I love business. That's my first fun fact about myself. 2, I love helping people. Even if I don't get anything in return, that's not the reason why I help. I just have a legit passion for wanting to see people grow and just level up, and it just makes me feel nice to see and know that I was a part of that process of helping someone grow and just get better as an individual. And my last fun fact about myself is I honestly did not know what I wanted to do in life until I would say my freshman or sophomore year of college. My brain was just jumbled with so many different things. I had so many different fields I was interested in, and it wasn't probably up until I would say 2017, 2018 maybe, when I really sat down and was like, yo, entrepreneurship and business is really something. Like I was able to narrow everything down. Just be like, I just want to strictly go into entrepreneurship and business and just helping people in general. So those are 3 facts about myself. I really don't know how fun they are or how they must sound to you guys, but this was facts about myself.
For sure. Thank you so much for sharing those. Tanvir?
Honestly, I'm just gonna probably say 1 or 2 because Josh, you took my first one with I love business. So along with that, to be honest, I just love to learn. I love to read. And just like feeding my brain, like I love to learn about new people and what they do and just new topics and just building on my knowledge. So that's a fun fact.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you all. Yeah, it's important to find those hobbies and develop those, outside things, and especially, seeing how business has influenced both of your lives, a passion as well. So a couple last questions. What are some takeaway points that you'd like to share with our audience or the readers? Some big picture things that have really stood out to you in your lives and helped you achieve what you have.
Some takeaway points I could share with the audience or the readers are that your mental well-being is one of the most important things that you can consider, that you can think about, that you can work on, because you got to understand is that your mental well-being is like the foundation of everything. It's like if you're not in that state of being well when it comes to the mind, nothing else will work. Everything that revolves around you, whether it be your work, your relationships, your schoolwork, or whatever, everything will just eventually crumble down. You won't be able to put in your best effort when it comes to that. So as a start, like I said, with that being, the foundation to everything, being in that, good state of mind, having a positive mindset, if you just continue to have that, everything that revolves around you in your life, I feel would come into place and just be successful, and everything would just be good for you at that point. So I feel like I said, your mental well-being is one of the most important things to work on, most important thing to think about in life. And that's just one of my takeaways that I have.
For sure.
Yeah, and to add to that, I feel like along with what you said, like mental health affects everything else. That goes for like your physical health and emotional health as well. Like, let's say you're not doing that well physically and you're going through stuff physically. If you're depressed about it, it's just going to make you feel worse. You might as well be optimistic about it, and it can just make you feel better. And along with like what we were saying, like it's hard to open up sometimes. And that, I feel like that goes with everyone too. So just knowing that you're not alone and there are like resources out there, people to talk to, that's important as well.
For sure. Yeah, I really like both of those points that, mental health has such a huge and important impact on all aspects of our life, not just our mental well-being, but how we interact with our peers. It has an effect on people surrounding us, our relationships, also, our productivity. And I definitely faced a lot of, those motivation concerns like you all brought up earlier because of the pandemic, because of various mental health concerns. But I really, want to reinforce that point. And the last question for today's podcast already, it's already been, 30 minutes, which is crazy. It flew by, is what would you all like to promote and how can we find more information about you all, about Revive Mentoring? Any last messages that you have about your mission and your purpose?
Yeah, sure. So first off, I'm going to start off with letting you guys know that our values at Revive Mentoring are to uplift, serve, develop, and educate.
Mhm.
As of now, we had started a brand new series. We're about 7 episodes in. It's on basically how to start a business and how to maintain your business. We had started
Mhm.
that to kind of give advice and help out all entrepreneurs, all people who are aspiring to be entrepreneurs, and any business minded people. We're also starting another series, which is going to be something similar to this. It's going to be a talk show where we do it via Zoom. We're going to be interviewing different entrepreneurs and speaking on all different types of topics
Mhm.
going on in the world, giving our personal opinions, and just generally spreading positivity and help spread our values, which, like I said, are to uplift, serve, develop, and educate. If you guys do want to find more information on Revive Mentoring, what we do, the services that we offer, and we do have a lot of valuable content that'll help you. You can feel free to visit us on Instagram. Our page is Revive Mentoring. You can visit us on Facebook at Revive Mentoring. You can visit us on YouTube if you want as well. And we're
Mhm.
also on TikTok. Uh,
Great.
Lastly, I just want to, since this whole podcast stream is going to be on our page as well, I want to
Yeah.
give a shout out to Mindful Coping.
Oh, thank
If you
you.
guys are not already following them, you definitely need to. They have a lot of valuable content on there, as well as spreading positivity and spreading a similar message as to what we're doing as well. So definitely, support them and look into that business. And they're doing big things, and they're great.
Thank you so much. Tanvir, any last comments?
He basically said everything I had to say, but to add on, if you guys want to know any other topics that you want us to do a video
Mhm.
on, let us know. We'll
For sure.
definitely do that. And
Yeah.
definitely check out Mindful Coping because I was looking at it too, and it's some really good tips.
Thank you so much, both of you. And with thank you. And with Revive Mentoring, I'll put all of their links in the description, in the Instagram post, etc. And thank you everyone for listening to this episode of Amplifying Voices, which is a podcast once again where I interview a variety of voices from the mental health and mentoring communities, such as Revive Mentoring, and really hear their unique perspectives on how we're able to come together as a community and make mental health a priority.